we'll have a recording of this once we're done. Welcome, everybody. I'm Haley Gray, and I'm the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network, which is 76,000 members strong. And I grew that group organically from zero, which means without the use of paid ads. I do manage marketing and marketing strategy for a number of small businesses. That's my primary business, Intuitive Business Solutions. We do ads management, we do social media management, we do search engine optimization, website building, a ton of graphic design, kind of end-to-end marketing for a lot of people. Because one of the things that we have found, Alice, you probably can vouch for me on this. Maria, you've probably also seen this. If the person who's running the ads and the social media doesn't know what's going on with like the landing page or the website, things tend to get really badly out of sync really quickly. And so one of the things that we do is we're constantly updating landing pages and websites while we're doing ads and the social media messaging and all the pieces and parts. So it's not a, okay, well, somebody brings us a completely finished funnel. And in fact, we prefer to not work with a funnel that is completely finished that we can't update, because we've learned that it tends to not work super well. Just because if you can't update it and fix issues that you're finding, or, bounce rates and all those things, it's kind of hard to get really successful ads. Which leads into the conversation that we're going to have today. If you have questions, please put them in the chat, or unmute yourself and feel free to ask. I am recording this and it will go up on YouTube, so we'll share it out. We're going to talk about ads. And part of the reason we talk about ads is a lot of people really want to get into ads, and they want to do paid ads, and they want to drive paid traffic to their stuff. And we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm going to give you a perspective that you may never hear from anybody else when it comes to ads. So today we're going to talk about, are you a good candidate to even do ads in your business? When should you even be doing ads? One of the things I see with a lot of people is they want to do massive amounts of ads right out of the gate. They want to run a special, and they haven't even gotten their social media active yet, and they're just doing ads super quickly out of the gate. So it can be really, really challenging to do ads on a completely cold market without a warm bit of traffic there. So just know that you may or may not be a good candidate to do ads. We're going to talk a little bit about different platforms, because different platforms do different things. A lot of people think that ads are all Meta or all Google or all one platform or another. There's a lot of different ads platforms out there. And the reality, nod your head, raise your hands, give me a reaction if you have seen the sheer number of algorithm changes that are going on right now on every single platform. It is insane. Yeah, I see the look. And debugging ads, we're going to talk a little bit about debugging ads, and then we're going to talk about building a plan and a marketing plan that actually works. And you're going to hear about marketing from a really soup to nuts to bolts. This is just going to be really hard-hitting conversation today. This is not the I'm selling you ads. This is the really, really hard conversations that we sometimes need to have with people. So the first question I have is, should you do ads in the first place in your business? Do you have profit margins? Do you have a good profit margin? Are you able to spend a certain amount for each client? it might be $50, $100, or $1,000 or $1,500, depending on the industry. If you're a coach selling a high ticket offer and you have ad money to spend for 3 to 6 months, you might be a good candidate. If you do not have the first penny to lose, ads are a lousy Hail Mary in your business. Just know that they are not good as a last ditch effort. Now, they can work really well to drive people to, say, a funnel to get a low cost opt-in into a really cool quiz funnel. And then you nurture them from there and you work them from there. And it can still take 3 to 6 months for people to trust you enough to actually buy from you. So I had this conversation a couple of times already this week, and it's Thursday. Should you even be doing ads in the first place? Do you have enough inventory if you're selling a product? Do you have enough profit margin? If you're selling a physical product, do you have a 60 to 70% profit margin on your items? So that you can afford to actually run ads and still be profitable, right? Because at the end of the day, the game here is not to lose wild amounts of money. Shein and Temu and those companies have very, very, very deep pockets, and they're funded by outside investors. Your average small business owner simply does not have that kind of funding. So where I say, should you do it? Probably not, right? In a lot of cases, do you have 3 to 6 months to figure things out? Most of my clients, when we do ads, it can take 3 to 6 months of tweaking funnels, of tweaking landing pages, of tweaking ads, of message upgrades, of changing videos, testing all the messages, and doing all the things to get things to work correctly. Because the reality is, no matter how good you are, only 10 to 20% of ad campaigns are going to be truly successful. And I will tell you that of all of my friends that are marketers, that run marketing agencies, that know marketing strategy up one side and down the other again, only 10 to 20% are successful campaigns. Which means that if you're insistent on running ads to a single funnel, like we were discussing before we started recording today, if you have a funnel that you have built and you are hell-bound and determined that that funnel is going to work, it may not. Everything in business can be a gamble, right? So just understand that you may or may not have the right funnel. Be willing to make changes, be willing to change things out, be willing to try it with small dollar amounts to see if it's working before you start throwing big dollar amounts of money at things. Do it on a single platform before you do it on multiple platforms. Things like that. So there's some real big platform differences. Google pay-per-click PPC is really good for things that people search for in Google. They're looking for a dentist, they're looking for a doctor, they're looking for an attorney, they're looking for a local restaurant. They're looking for things. Those make really good candidates for PPC in a lot of cases, done well. PPC is really good for foot traffic. If you have a physical brick and mortar store, PPC is amazing. Display ads can also work well to get foot traffic in the door. You have a restaurant, you have a new dentist in town, you have a new thing, you have something like that. It's really, really good. PPC and display ads are lousy for, I have a workshop next week. They just don't work. It just is not a thing. But Meta, Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest can work really well for those things. Time limited, et cetera, all these other platforms work really well. Don't do them on display ads. Don't do them on PPC. do them as part of Meta, because what happens is somebody's on Facebook or they're on Instagram and they're browsing and they're like, oh, look, there's a workshop. I think I'll go check it out. But if you're on the CNN website, which is where like display ads tend to show, and you say, you know, free workshop next week, how likely are you really going to be to click? Probably not, right? So think about human behavior before you start doing things. YouTube can work for launches with enough videos, with enough runway, with enough time. It can work well for time constrained things. Those work really well. A free download, absolutely. Display ads, YouTube, Meta, where Meta is Facebook and Instagram. But you're never, ever, ever going to have Google pay-per-click for a free download. Right. So think about, is this how my platform really, 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 really works? Is a free download good on Pinterest? Yes. And in fact, a lot of times organically on Pinterest, you can drive a ton of traffic without the use of paid ads on Pinterest for a free download, if you use enough graphics and enough different versions of text and whatnot, and you've already got a decent Pinterest following. So just you know, okay, well, I don't have a budget, but I've got time and I'm willing to sit here and test things. Pinterest is really good for that. And in fact, Pinterest is a really awesome platform also for testing out different graphics. So if you are wanting to test graphics really quickly and say, hey, what works here? What's going to work? What's going to be visually appealing to people? You can A/B test two different graphics that look very similar at different times and take the winners and use those for your graphics, for your display ads and your Meta ads elsewhere. Pinterest is a really cheap platform for advertising. Twitter is also, X is also a very, very cheap platform for advertising. It's always been cheap. It's gotten a lot cheaper. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not sure my audience is there. Honestly, for most of us, our audiences kind of tend to be all over the place. You have to just pick one or two platforms to do your ads on and kind of stick with them and learn those platforms. Your clients will tend to come. You may get a little bit easier, a little bit harder, a little bit more expensive, a little bit cheaper. But in general, one of the things that I've observed is, as much as people will sit here in the expert seat and tell you that, you know, you have to do it on Meta, or you have to do it on LinkedIn, or you have to do it on whatever, there's very few you have tos, and my audience isn't on. Honestly, what I would tell you is do ads and engage on one or two platforms that you really personally resonate with. If you find them easy to use, then you are much more likely to actually do the things you need to do in order to actually get the clients. If you hate the platform and you find it hard to use, well, of course you're not going to do anything on it. So, you know, cut yourself some slack and don't worry about the I should be on a particular platform. There's very few hard and fast rules. Now, I will say, if you're doing product sales, yes, Google and hooking up Google ads and Meta ads and retargeting people and ad roll and chasing people all over the internet with Pinterest and everything else, totally fair game, right? But start with one platform and go from there. Is there a right platform to do ads on at the moment? Not really. They are both changing. They're all changing so fast right now that there's no one size fits all. And really, this is a game of how many eyeballs can you get on your stuff. Alice, for you, one of the things I was going to say, as a graphic designer and what you do, you may find that driving people into a simple funnel for, you know, a free opt-in, et cetera, for strategy may be a great, you know, strategy on a Meta platform. But if people are actually looking for graphic designers near me, then that would be a PPC type ad. So it really depends on what you want to do, but you could do it with $2 or $3 a day. Don't feel that you have to spend whatever the platform tells you you have to spend. So debugging ads. One of the things you're going to have to do whenever you do ads or whenever you do social media or whenever you do any kind of marketing is debug what's going wrong. Unless you get really, really lucky and the moon and the stars and everything else align, I can guarantee you that it's not going to work right on the first try. I have had posts on social media that go flat out viral. And where I'm talking viral, I'm talking, you know, 10 million views or more on a post. That was one post in hundreds. The lesson that I've learned there is that some percentage of my posts are indeed going to go viral. The more swings you take at it, the more likely you are to succeed. And for me, one of the things that I have found wildly disconcerting is sometimes the things you think are going to succeed don't. And the things that you just throw up there because you thought it would be a good idea, hell, let me try this because I'm frustrated because nothing else is working, are sometimes the things that work the best. Be willing to try things. At the end of the day, debugging is all about trying things. Look at what you're doing carefully with a really hard eye on your marketing and your ads, and look at where people are dropping out. Are you getting clicks from your ads to your website? Okay, does your page load fast? Does your page load slow? Do they stay on the website for a certain number of seconds and then drop? Or do they bounce off it instantly? What are people doing? If you can afford it, install heat mapping software onto your website or onto your funnel. That'll give you a really good idea what people are doing. Pendo offers a free version if you're only driving less than 1,000 hits a month to it. Install a Facebook pixel and a Google tag on your website, even if you're not going to do ads. Because, ta-da, if you decide to do ads in 6 months, you've already marinated your audience. You need at least 1,000 people in that audience for Google or Facebook to be able to do anything with those ads. If you leave here with nothing else today, make sure you install your pixel and your Google tag. I'm also going to give you another piece of advice. Please, for the love of bacon, install Google Analytics and Google Search Console on your website and on your funnels as well. Analytics will tell you how many people you're getting without the use of really fancy software. And Google Search Console will tell you what people are searching for and finding you with and what pages they're landing on your website. The best of all is these pieces of software are completely free. There is also a new piece of software out there called Google Lighthouse, which is a Chrome plugin. It will do an analysis of your website. It doesn't quite do heat mapping. I've been playing with it, but it does some performance analysis on your website, and it does a few things, and it looks at what people are doing and your page load speeds and a bunch of stuff. Free tool, another totally free tool. And if you serve people in your local community, create or claim your Google My Business listing and make sure that sucker is updated and you have reviews on it. Here's the thing about ads. People are maybe going to see your ad and they're going to go Google you. They're going to search for you, especially if you're a service provider. And even if you're not a service provider, even if you're a restaurant owner or you sell a product, they're going to see your ad and then they're going to ask on social media or they're going to look you up on Google. So one of the things you want to do is you want to have solid reviews. Do retargeting ads. Once you've had ads running for about 3 months, you always want to start retargeting ads. Retargeting ads are probably not going to work well in the first 30 to 60 days. Over time, their cost will drop dramatically. And those are the ads that are the, did you like this? Maybe you would like this ads. I saw you were looking at my shiz. You want to look at it again? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? Follow them, retarget them. And here's the thing, cold traffic can take a very long while to warm up. I have had people who have become clients who have told me that they circled me for 2 years before they ever gave me the first like on a single Facebook post. 2 years, circle me before they gave me the first like on a single Facebook post. Now, I would think that that was perhaps atypical, except for the fact I've had multiple people tell me they did that. How long does it take people to get even onto a workshop or into a call or do something? It can take for freaking ever. When I say cold traffic can take a while to warm up, oh, it can take a while to warm up. That's why you want to have a strong presence on Google and you want to have a strong presence on your social media. And one of the things I recommend that people do is create their content and pre-schedule it on social media, run stuff on social media for a few months before you ever think about running ads. Because what are people going to do when they see your ads? They're going to go Google you, and then they're going to look at your social media. And then they're going to go crawling through your website, and they're going to be all up in your business, looking for inconsistencies. And if somebody doesn't know you, even getting an email address can be super hard. They're not going to want to part with that email address because, frankly, our inboxes are so full of nonsense that it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for them to give their email address. So make sure you're giving something of value if you're offering a free download. If you have a funnel that is a free download, sorry, my dogs just went bonkers. Make sure that you offer something of value. Please no bait and switch on your free downloads because that breaks trust more than anything. Tip number 2, tip number 3, whatever tip we're on your thank you page for your freebie download, if you're offering a freebie download because you're a service provider, invite people to whatever that next step is with you and give them the link to download your thingamabobby. So is it get on a call with you? Is it join your Facebook group? Is it do whatever? I have a coonhound, in case y'all can't hear. That is the blood-curdling yell going on in the background, and I apologize for that. Our neighbor's dogs have been running loose, and my dog has taken offense. So, let's talk about building a plan. Keep trying things. If you don't try enough things, you are by definition going to fail. And if you don't do it often enough, if you only put out one Facebook post every 3 weeks, I can guarantee you it's going to fail. I mean, y'all know this, but I'm repeating it. Keep trying things, do it in enough volume so that you get a chance at success. Like I said, 1 in hundreds of posts for me will have 1 million viewers or 1 million reach. So it can take a lot of trying. Stick with things long enough for them to succeed. If you don't stick with things long enough for them to succeed, 3, 6, 12 months with the same message, with the same, consistency, it's really hard for things to succeed. This is where a lot of business owners fail because we get into our heads. I made 3 posts and nobody bought from me, and I'm so exhausted and so tired, and I just can't with these people. And it gets exhausting. And I tried it and I did it 3 times, or I did it for a month, or I did it for 2 weeks, or whatever. Most of the time when I talk to business owners, they're not doing enough things and they're not doing them for long enough. And in fact, if I have them track their hours and how much effort they're actually putting into their own marketing, we see a very clear pattern. Only 15% of ad campaigns are truly successful. And of those, it's really like, it's a normal curve. So one of the things you're going to find is that, 15% of them are successful, but like 5%, 1% are like amazingly successful. The other thing is, please don't do ads if you can't afford to lose any money. And don't do ads if you're in a dire position for getting clients. A lot of people will come to me, and I've had a few of these in the last few months. And they're like, I need ads and I need them now, and I need everything up and I need it done now. First of all, let's get real. I can't build a website that's so fast. My team can't build a website that's so fast. If you want quality, it does take some time and discovery and doing all the things. And here's the reality. I've got one client right now that built half of her store in Shopify and is like, oh my God, I need it up by next week, but I don't have any of my headshots and I just got you my logo 2 days ago. She's on her 4th website. And that's why. Ads, copy, everything take time. So don't do it if you're desperate. There's other better ways to get clients if you are starving. If you are starving, you go out and you go start calling people. And you work your way through your Rolodex. Ads, not so much. Okay. We are nearing the end of the finish line. So Q&A, what questions do y'all have for me? I know this is quick and dirty and a ton of information.
I thought it was really interesting. I had no idea that ads were only successful so little of the time, 15% or whatever. That was interesting. And I've been in that situation of desperation, so it's good to know these things.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that will take your money,
Mhm.
who are trying to take your money because they themselves are desperate for a sale. They're desperate for a client. And it actually ends up being a lose-lose situation.
Mhm.
And I've seen it over and over and over again. Clients will tell me how to run the ads. They'll tell me what copy to use in the ads. And they don't want input from me. And yet, it works the best when it is a real partnership. And it's not done at the last minute, and it's not the last everything.
Ah, they're looking for the trained monkey. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. The trained monkey that they're going to treat like a monkey, but they want results and they don't want to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. They want the expert, but they want to treat you like the trained monkey that comes in and just does exactly what it's told. Yeah.
Right. And you run on the end of the line. Exactly. So, and that's a hard place to be as well. It doesn't work well for the client. It doesn't work well for me as the agency because we can't do our best work. You don't get the best results. Everybody ends up unhappy. It's a lose-lose. I try to avoid that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You recommend Pixel and a tag. I've tried to put Pixel on and it crashed my site.
We can talk after this, which brings me to my next slide. Book a call with me.
Okay.
And we can talk, because if you're having trouble with installing a Pixel, there's other things we can do. And it almost doesn't matter what platform you're on, whether you're on Kartra, Kajabi, Wix, WordPress, Shopify, anything. It's pretty easy to install a Pixel, and there are myriad different pieces of software that we can use for it, including different, parts of the themes. We can do it as PHP. We can do it all kinds of ways.
Okay.
There's 1,000 different ways to do it.
I tried to do it with Facebook's plugin, and apparently that was a bad choice.
Don't use Facebook's plugin.
Yeah.
That's another piece of information. Facebook's plugin has a lot of issues. I've tried to use it a few times and it's not done well for any of my clients.
No, I had to pull it off, and I was like, well, I wanted it, but not that way. Okay.
Header, footer, code manager is one that will do it.
Okay.
What WordPress theme are you using?
I have Divi.
Divi actually has a place in it that you can add the Facebook pixel in the Divi builder.
Yeah.
Under the settings. Yep.
Yeah. Same place that I drop my Google coding and everything else.
Your analytics, your search console, your tag, all of that can all go on the website. Yep. Under Divi. It's super easy to configure. I love that as a WordPress theme allows
so much
the easy integration there without me having to install 5,000 different plugins on the site. Yep.
That's why I use it. It makes life so much easier. And I'm so excited about the update when they get the new version out.
Lots of cool things coming. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and I'll let y'all ask any other questions that you have that are like totally off record.